Okay, it's that time. Are we ready? Yes. Perfect. We're calling the meeting to order. City Clerk, can we get the roll call, please?
Mayor Olson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bishop,
Here.
Council Members Loa,
Here.
Betancourt. Here. And Alarcon. Here. We have a quorum.
Perfect. Let's everybody stand and let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. As my first time as mayor, I'm going to lead us.
Okay.
So please place your right hand over your heart. Begin with me and then a moment of silence afterwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you so much. City Clerk, could you please read the Public Code of Conduct?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? The meeting of the Palmdale City Council is now in order. A code of conduct will now be read, and we request that you comply with it to ensure the efficient administration of the meeting. Members of the public, it is your right to participate in today's City Council meeting, and the Council encourages such participation. However, the right of the public to address the council must be balanced with the need to ensure that public comment does not interfere with the orderly course of the council's business. All are reminded to abide by the following rules. Speakers must cease speaking immediately when their time has ended. Public comment on agenda items must relate to the subject matter of that item. General public comment is limited to subjects within the jurisdiction of the council. Public comment does not include the right to engage in a dialogue with council members or staff. Please remain respectful of the forum and refrain from uttering, writing, or displaying profane, personal, threatening, derogatory, demeaning, or other abusive statements towards the council, any member thereof, staff, or any other person. Members of the audience should be respectful of the views expressed by speakers, staff, and council members, and may not excessively clap, cheer, whistle, or otherwise disrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting. Any person engaging in conduct that disrupts the meeting is subject to being removed from the council meeting. Finally, if you witness conduct or behavior by other members of the public that disrupts your ability to remain engaged or participate in this meeting, please notify city staff. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, thank you. When we get to the point of public comment, I think we've restored the 3 minutes back to every agenda item. We're going to give you your full 3 minutes. We're going to be as polite and respectful as possible. We ask the same for you. We all want the same thing, what's best for the city. And it's my goal as the new mayor to get everybody to pull together. Because any moment we spent being adverse with each other is a moment wasted serving the residents of this community. So I ask that these meetings are respectful. Everybody's viewpoint is welcome. You will have your time to speak. Let's just treat each other with respect. With that, is there a cute critter video? Thank you so much. City Clerk, can you read the observances for the month of January?
The City of Palmdale would like to recognize the following observances for January: Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month, National Human Trafficking Prevention Month, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the 19th, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, the 27th. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Interim City Manager, are there any items that wish to be pulled from the consent calendar?
Yes, we'll be pulling item 12.1.
I guess that wasn't the consent calendar, I meant the agenda, but 12:1 on closed session will be pulled. Okay, thank you. Now on to Section 4, we have some presentations. First of all, we want to recognize the city staff for their exceptional efforts. We had some storms over the holidays, and a lot of staff members had to come in, and they worked overtime, and they worked really hard to make sure that the city was prepared, and we were. And we think that they did an exceptional job. They sacrificed part of their holidays for this city, and so we want to honor them now. It's our communications department, our parks department, and the public works department. We have well over 40 certificates, so we're not going to call each individual name now, but I believe we have a video prepared. Great job, everyone. Thank you. It doesn't look like all those names are here right now. So are we going to do a photo? No? There's no one here. So maybe, to the directors that are here, if you can relay our appreciation to you and to your staff. I was quoted in the paper saying we've got the best public works and park team, hands down. I believe that. I believe all of our departments are the best, but you guys really stepped up. We always appreciate your efforts, and Palmdale is great because of the work that you do. So thank you all very much for that. Okay, 4.2, we have a presentation on formal procurement methods.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Janelle Sampson, Director of Operations. This evening, I'll be providing an informational brief overview on the city's formal procurement methods. We often have items on the agenda that are referencing our procurement, RFPs, RFQs. We throw around acronyms, and the intent of this presentation is to provide some background on what they are, what they mean, how we procure in the city, and what guides that procurement, both for the council and the public. So this slide here outlines the 4 formal procurement methods. The goal of our procurement here at the city, formal procurement, which is guided through government code, Palmdale Municipal Code, and other applicable laws. Formal procurement applies to anything over a dollar threshold of $150,000. So that would guide how the city obtains those goods and services. We have several methods that we will use depending on what the city needs. This slide here outlines the RFP, which is our request for proposal, a request for qualifications, RFQ, an invitation for a bid, IFB, or an RFQ/P. This would apply to engineering and architect procurement, which differs a little bit in how we go about that. This next slide has a lot of information, so I'll spend a few minutes going through each of these types of procurements. First of all, the purpose of formal procurement is to promote open and fair competition. We want to give a fair chance to any of the vendors that exist in our community or that can provide the services and goods that the city needs. It ensures consistency and transparency, and it complies with legal regulations and city policy. Not all procurement is the same, so there are many case-by-case instances that we have to work with our legal counsel on, depending on what the specifics of the procurement are. An RFP, this is commonly used for services, solutions, and the purpose is, it's typically seeking professional services. It focuses on things other than cost. It typically looks at experience, skills, abilities to provide, technical expertise. So there's a criteria that the city looks at. Cost is usually the last component in that because we're really looking for solutions that can provide what we need. This method allows flexibility and innovation. It's well suited for consulting services, technology solutions, things that we can benefit from vendor expertise. On the slide before you, we have quite a bit of detail. We do note here the price roll. It's weighted, but it's not the primary factor. Negotiations in an RFP are permitted even after the evaluation, so we can continue to negotiate with the selected vendor to refine the scope or, however the city sees necessary. We can expand the scope or limit it. The complexity is fairly moderate. Public release, and I know this comes up fairly often, when can we release the results of an RFP or any of these to both the public and the council? We are permitted to release this both to the public and to the council after the notice of intent to award has been issued. So after the evaluation committee has performed their evaluations and we are prepared to award, that can be released. The next type here is the RFQ, the request for qualifications. This type of procurement focuses on the firm's expertise, credentials, and technical competence rather than price. What we would use this for is public works contracts where we're trying to obtain a pool of qualified firms to perform a job for the city. We may use it to pre-qualify vendors so that we have a list of qualified firms that we can negotiate with at a later date. So if other projects come up where we need to pull from a pool of firms, we're able to do so here. Again, negotiations are permitted with this type of procurement, and after the notice of intent to award has been issued, we are able to then release. I do list here the legal authority that guides all of these types of procurement on the bottom of the screen in front of you. So we do remain in compliance with Public Contract Code, Government Code, as well as the Palmdale Municipal Code in all of these procurements. The next item here, the IFB, Invitation for Bid. This is used when the city's requirements are clearly defined and the primary evaluation criteria is the price. The specifications need to be clearly identified by the city. The contract is typically awarded to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Bids are not opened until after the closing of that solicitation. So we would open the selected bidder. Upon evaluation of that, we would then determine if it is within the city's budget. We are able to negotiate to an extent if they're very close to the city's budget, but if they're not within that budget, we would then go to the next bidder that in the rating criteria, whoever had scored next, and then open their price. So that's a little more complicated. And those types of solicitations, the documents are available for public release and release to the city council at bid opening. And the last type here, the RFQP, the engineer and architect procurement. This is used for professional services. These are qualification-based selections, and they emphasize the professional qualifications, the technical expertise, as well as past performance. Price is not considered during the initial selection of these types of procurement, but would later be a factor considered. We do have, as the city has some exceptions to formal procurement. If there are emergencies, we have that outlined in our municipal code. We also have sole source procurements in where there is no one else who would provide a certain good or service. And we also have the ability to utilize cooperative purchasing agreements. And those are agreements in which two or more agencies have led a formal solicitation that allows and contains the legal language for other cities or agencies to utilize those. And our procurement team here at the city, they are able to validate all of that. So before the city brings forth a cooperative, an agreement that utilizes a cooperative, we ensure that all of that legal information is within those procurements, that it has checked all of those boxes, and that we are fully compliant. So that concludes my presentation.
Great, thank you. Is there any questions from council?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you so much for that presentation. So a couple meetings back, we had the conversation, I think, which was the precursor for this presentation, about what information is going to be presented to the council when any of these are brought to us for award for bid, to award the contract. So, for instance, on today's agenda item 5.5, we're awarding a contract and it lists the bidder, it lists their location headquarters, and it lists their costs. Even though there are 4 different types of contracts that we will be awarding and bidding processes that we will navigate, and not all of them require cost or headquarter locations to be the determining factor, will those 2 items be included on all 4 staff reports when they come before us? Because I think that's what we were asking before, that there's consistency so that we see all of the bidders, all of the cost proposals, and the geography of where their headquarters are located.
Typically, no, they would not be included on all staff reports. The one on tonight's agenda, it was a bid. It was an IFB, in which case the price is the primary factor, so those are listed. In the instance of an IFB, the location of the headquarters is not a factor. However, it is a criteria, and there is a local preference in our municipal code for RFPs. So depending on the type of procurement, we do utilize that, and we ensure that that is a criteria in our evaluation for each type of procurement.
Right, so they might not be mandatory factors to consider, but they're factors I think that we as elected officials consider, because we want to ensure that we keep our taxpayer dollars here and employ as many local people as we possibly can using those taxpayer dollars. Is there anything legally that would preclude us from including those 2 factors, location headquarters and cost, for all 4 types of procurement processes?
I think looking at these 4, the only one that is a flat out no is the RFQ for engineering and architect, because under this statute, cost isn't considered and you can't even open them until you pick the first person, and it's all subject to negotiation. So after you pick that first person, you negotiate with them. If you don't like, negotiations fall through. You can move at that point, you go to the next person and open theirs up and then negotiate with them, but the rest of them stay confidential. But these other 3, most likely on a case-by-case basis, you could include the information.
Right.
So all of them except for the last one.
Right. The RFQ, which one? There's
The
2.
RFQ for engineer and architect, the 4th box. That's the only one that I would say most likely not, just because of the whole statutory procedure. But these other 3, I think you would be able to, assuming the notice of intent to award has already gone out.
Okay, so, thank you. So for the other three, it would be my preference, and I don't know what it is of the council's desire, but it would be my preference to incorporate those two factors for all of those three types of contract awards for our consideration and for the public's edification, to include that information in all staff reports that come before us for a contract award.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, this is a presentation. I don't know if this is if this is the right form for this.
What are you talking about? We're
To-
gonna comment on presentation.
No, can we make recommendations right now? To bring back?
Yeah, well, I think the council member is saying that they just want this information on the staff reports.
Okay, thank you.
There's nothing to preclude us taking action on a properly agendized presentation item, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Loa?
Yeah, first of all, it would have been nice to have this
Yep.
in other words, this whole presentation in writing so that we could follow it a little easier and with more time in advance. So why don't we have it like that? Put it as a staff report.
Unfortunately, staff was still working on this presentation, and in ensuring that it was complete for tonight's meeting, we determined that it would be just presented on the screen before you.
Okay, the two items that Councilmember Alarcon asked about, which two are those? Which two categories she's asking?
I can clarify, on item 5.5, for instance, you can reference that staff report. It references the bidder, lists all four bidders. It lists the location of their headquarters of that corporation or that entity, and it lists the amount of their bid. So the location, the geographic location of where they're headquartered, and the amount of their bid are the two items.
I thought you were asking for additional information beyond that.
Nope, just those.
So, as I pointed out, I think in the meeting that we last addressed this, in the past, we used to get the breakdown of the various categories that were not, the portions that were not confidential. And that hasn't happened. I mean, I've been asking for the breakdowns, and thank you very much. I did receive for the one that we have tonight. But I think all council should have the advantage of taking a look at that. And when 5.5 comes up, then I've got some questions for Mr. Torres. Who evaluates all of this information once you get it?
For each procurement, there is an evaluation team made up of those who have the highest level of expertise in the organization. So it varies depending on the procurement. It could be staff, directors. It's typically staff at all levels within the organization, depending on the type of procurement and the level of expertise needed in order to define the scope and then evaluate what the city's needs are.
Okay, and for example, in this, the one we have tonight, and I'll ask Mr. Torres some questions about that, but there appears to be a substantial difference in the amounts that were bid between these four companies, and the winning bid is the lowest of them all. And I'll follow up with him, but that's almost like a red flag when they're that far off in, what's going on here. Are the other companies more consistent in their numbers? And the only way we can evaluate that is if we actually have the numbers for the breakdowns. Yeah.
In this type of procurement, this was a bid. Price is the sole factor in this. So the city is required to go with the lowest price for tonight's item.
Okay. How do we protect the city? And I'm not in any way casting any doubt on the company that's involved there. But how do we protect the city to make sure, yeah, that's fine, to make sure that when somebody is bidding so low, that we're actually going to get the value that we're asking for our city?
Good evening. So that's Public Works staff's responsibility, construction managers, project managers, and inspectors to make sure that the project is built per standards and specs. So when we get a project like this, have multiple bid items, like what was said, that the lowest responsible bidder, the price is what's considered. The bid items, they're gonna vary. An example would be a paving contractor who does all their own work. They're going to typically have a lower price versus someone who subcontracts concrete or other materials. They're going to have a line item there that's going to be a lot higher than the others. So those are just a small example of what could happen in the bid. Could be that local contractor has enough projects or doesn't have enough projects to work on, and he's hungry to work up here. So there's a lot of factors involved in having that low bid and having different bid item cost items.
So what's the analysis that's conducted in order to, in other words, combine all of the information so you come up with the right bid?
So typically, we take a look at our engineering estimate. We have our engineering estimate where all the bid items broken down. We compare it with all the bid items for all the contractors, and we flag the ones that are substantially low. So if it is, then we'll flag that. Sometimes if it's too low, then we'll ask the contractor the reason why. But most cases, we'll just make sure that that contractor abides by the plans and specs and builds it properly.
Okay, and then the other question that comes to mind is that perhaps the contractor will be asking for an adjustment in the price once the project gets going. I think we've seen that happen before.
That only happens when you have an escalation in materials, for example. But they can't ask for additional monies just because they low bid something.
What happens if they do?
We deny it.
Okay, and then it might lead to a breach of contract and a lawsuit.
Possibly, but most of the time it's worked out.
Okay, all right, Mr. Torres, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just add one piece? So as I understand it, the standard of review for these types of contract awards is the lowest responsive responsible bidder. So that's what governs the review process. And so there is an internal public works process, and any, awarding department, they do their own internal review. But as it relates to our authority, if we find impropriety or if we view that the process may be tainted by a bidder who is substantially low bidding the project intentionally, we have the recourse, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we can reject all bids and start all over. So that is our recourse as council members, but they go through their objective process, and we review it on an overall basis, which is also why it's important for us to have the information about each proposal in our staff reports, so that you do your own one review, and then we take a look at it from a different perspective, and we decide amongst, ourselves whether or not it is, because we have to take into consideration deadlines and timeframes to get the work done, where the money is coming from, do we have timeframes with which we're mandated to expend that money. All of these things are considerations that are ours. So we can, if we'd like to, in those instances, reject all bids and direct that we issue a new request for proposal. So that's our recourse as council members, as I understand it, is that.
So
Thanks.
as I indicated before, last time, and I am asking again, and I'm getting them because I asked for the breakdown, so I get the bid sheet and some other information. But I think we all should get it, and it should be information that's available for the public to review as well. And so far as any portion of it is not confidential. And I don't understand why we used to get those, and I'm just wondering why we can't continue getting those in the future.
Or we can
So-
for future.
I'd be happy to
awards,
make my
construction awards,
request
we
a
can.
motion if you want to second it, and we can
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
second.
Will do.
What was and sorry, because I didn't catch everything you said the first time around. It was a lot, but what was the original motion and second? Because there was a couple of different items you had.
All I'm requesting is that, sort identical to the staff report that is included in
Okay.
item 5.5, that we include in all future staff reports for the three types of procurement processes that we are allowed to include the bidder name, the ranking, the location of their headquarters, and the amount of their proposals. 3 things.
Okay.
But my motion is that we include the breakdown of each of the categories. So the sheet that, in the form that we use, there's a bid sheet. And it's by a graph. And it's got all the different categories that are going to be bid separately. And so when you look at them, you go right across the board, then you can tell what somebody's asking for example, on a saw cut and remove existing driveway, you know, and then you can see what the three bids are. And then we can ask a question, not necessarily in a council meeting, but we can call you, for instance, on Public Works item, and say, well, what, you know, why are these three so very different? Or why is one of them so much lower than the other two, or the other three, or whatever it is? We used to get this information, and I'm asking that, as part of the
So-
motion, I'm asking that we
Yeah,
have it.
so I think everybody knows that I love digging deep into the details. And so I'd be happy to get the more information, the better from my perspective. I would be, you know, content with the location of the headquarters and the cost proposal overall. But if it's the council's desire to include a spreadsheet with sort of an analysis line by line, line item by line item, a sort of overview of all the proposals, I'd be happy to accept that as a friendly amendment and second it as well.
Yeah, however it works. I didn't know we were going to get into a big discussion. I thought it was just a presentation, otherwise I would have prepared a little bit more. But I know over the years, we've had a handful of different ways we've done the procurement process, but I think the more information, the better, as long as it doesn't pose a legal problem.
Mayor, members of the City Council, we will continue to do that prior to the council meeting. So what Councilmember Loa is referring to is, for instance, we emailed you all today the specs and everything that was bid on today. So we will do that prior, once we do the intent to award, we'll do that. And we legally can, we will submit that to you guys as well during the briefings or before the briefings.
Okay, but getting it the day of the council meeting is not helpful when we've got, you know,
That is correct.
stacks of bids and the cross, you know,
That is
reference
correct.
analysis
We'll
is
do that
is
during the
impossible to
briefings
do.
or before the briefings.
All right, real quick, I had a question before we move on. So for a bid like tonight on 5.5, where it's based solely on price, where it's really kind of a straightforward product and service, yes, there is a gap. There is a contingency that helps that gap. However, I mean, you've been doing this long enough, or someone in your position's been doing this long enough to know there's a project that comes through that's severely underbid. You should know, like, cost per lineal foot or cost per square foot. You could probably calc it out and say, okay, they could do this job for the price they quoted. What if it comes in severely under?
We would reject that bid.
You reject the bid, and you can kind of tell right away, based on the size of the project, if it pencils or not for the contractor.
Correct. For this type of work, that cost is reasonable.
Okay, that sounds, yeah, because with contracting work, I would imagine with your experience, you'll be able to tell, and it's beneficial for them to finish the job and
Yes.
get paid and
And the
keep their.
contingencies are not made to make up the difference. That's for unforeseen conditions. So they just have to build that based on their bid price.
Right, so if they, like, you know, put the shovel in the ground and all of a sudden, you know, something comes pouring out of the dirt.
Yes,
Contingency.
absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we call the
Let
question?
me understand, so, because Mr. Mendez brought up that he sent an email to everybody with the breakdowns. So that would mean that it would not be placed as part of the package that.
No,
the
we'll all
public
get
and
them
ourselves-
separately.
okay. What's that?
He'll send them individually to us.
Okay, so then the motion does not include putting that as part of the package.
Go with that?
So the motion is my original motion.
Yeah,
Yeah, you go with that? You're getting all the information you need.
no, I know, but I think the public ought to get it as well, but that's fine.
Right.
I'll keep bringing it up.
Okay.
Okay, so for the
let's vote.
record, I will renew my motion to require the staff reports include both, well, 3 items, the ranking of the bidders, the location of each respective bidder's headquarters, as well as the overall cost proposal. And then if I can get a second.
Right.
You second it?
Yep.
Okay, motion second.
Can all say aye?
Aye. Okay, great.
Thank you. Thanks
That-
for the
that was a-
presentation. Can you send the presentation to us after? Thank you.
Okay, let's move on from that, please. Section number 5, consent calendar. Can we get some public comment, please?
We have Jason Zink on this section.
Wait, before, can I read my statement?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason, can you give me 1 minute? I'm sorry. I did have a request from Councilmember Alarcon to make a statement, and I wanted to provide her with that opportunity now.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Appreciate you. I just wanted to make a statement. I'd like to clarify a few things for the record. So reports are circulating about me that are patently false. I became aware of a warrant just yesterday related to an incident that occurred 4 months ago. That warrant was quashed first thing this morning. Let me be clear about what actually happened that afternoon 4 months ago. I encountered a woman at a local restaurant who had too much to drink. She made clear her intent to drive home. Rather than leave her and her friend in a vulnerable situation, I did what I hope anyone would do. I offered to pay for their meals if they would wait for me to arrange for a safe ride for them to get home. I did in fact pay for both of their meals. I arranged for and paid for their ride home. I also arranged and paid for their ride back to the restaurant the following day to pick up their car. Those are the facts. The bottom line is, I was simply trying to protect our community and help to protect someone who needed it. I know in my heart that I was doing the right thing that afternoon, and I have the documentation, the receipts, and witnesses to prove it. Witnesses who attest to exactly what I just shared happened. I understand that in today's climate, accusations and falsehoods can spread faster than facts. But the truth matters. And I'm confident that when all of the evidence is presented, it will be clear that I acted with nothing but good intentions that afternoon. I appreciate all of those who've reached out with support and concern. But as the first Latina ever elected in the city of Palmdale, I will not be intimidated and I will not be silenced. I remain focused on and committed more than ever to continue serving the city of Palmdale and the hardworking residents that I represent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zink, Happy New Year.
Jason Zink. There's always a theme I've been seeing in the last year. Let's go back to the way it was. Like you said, Loa, why can't we just go back to the way it was, all the bids and stuff, so everything's transparent? I don't think staff should have the right to give a report unless there's attachments, unless it's an emergency thing. They only had one city council meeting last month, and they had an extra week this month. That's all I'm saying. And these people are paid top dollar. Regarding 5.5, 5.6, and 5.7. 5.5, sidewalk gap closure project, I'm glad to see the city's doing this. And, we have $46 million extra every year annually to spend on things, to do these projects, and to do the faded street signs and the missing signs. So maybe this year we can actually get it done. The simple things, the checklist things. So, the sidewalk gap project on Avenue S near right next to the fire station, Stater Brothers. I've been asking for that for over 15 years. The sidewalks going along Sarah Highway to the transportation center, from the sheriff's station to the transportation center. I've asked Austin Bishop that ever since he got elected. I don't get it. Ask Boswick right there. Let's get it done, okay? Supervisor Barger's deputy, Boswick. Public outreach on the Oasis Park, the trail around the flood basin. This is the first time I've heard of it. I've emailed you guys about the idea and everything over the years, but there's been no public outreach for us to participate in the planning process. That's not right. This is our city. We used to have a standing park committee. Can you bring that back?
No, we'll look at that.
On 5.7, the California Choice Energy Authority, the contract for $1.8 million. The whole reason Palmdale, Lancaster County, the whole reason we wanted our own energy companies and the cities to be involved was to create lower rates for our residents. But yet, I just looked at Lancaster's, it's actually higher rate than Southern California Edison. So what was the reason? Create more chaos, more jobs, job for one person, Jason. But the thing is, they're not focusing, you're just focusing on, okay, keep it going, but you're not focusing on creating lower rates for ratepayers. I've had lots of vacant land out there that we could use to put solar farms and make the rates go down in Palmdale and help bring business in Palmdale. Nobody's gonna move here when their electric bill's $1,000 a month for their house, and a warehouse, the power's twice as much. Why would they move here? So I want you guys to think about this stuff. Thank you for your time.
No further speaker cards on this section.
Okay, is there Anything that the council members would like to pull from consent? Just 5.5 is your
I
request?
assume 5.5, does everybody want to talk about 5.5? Yeah.
Sure. Anything else?
5.4.
And 5.4? 5.4 and 5.5? Okay, can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Please add the motion in. Please add the motion in. Thank you. Can you put the second in? Thank you. Start voting. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, 5.4.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Megan Taggart, Director of Economic and Community Development. Item 5.4 is an amendment to the city's aerospace incentive program, and it will be presented by Zach Lynn from our Economic Development team.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The item before you tonight is a proposal to amend the Palmdale Aerospace Incentive Program to closer align development milestones and phase funding. Key changes proposed in the amended program include 2 phases for new construction to properly address the substantial and continually increasing costs of construction. And in this version will be the inclusion of a lease incentive option to help us address a lot of our industrial vacant space currently throughout the city. In the first phase for new construction, it will be addressing site plans, building plans, and the commencement of construction. Phase 2 will include proof of an effort through their private bidding process adequate to the city that they have made efforts to keep those costs local. It would also include payment upon issuance of their certificate of occupancy. And finally, and most importantly, the job creation and proof thereof within a year of their certificate of occupancy. The phase 1 for lease options guarantees a minimum of 5 years here within the city and a minimum job creation of 50 jobs. The approval of this amendment will allow this program to be more competitive, more universal, and allow for more applicants in the future. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, for questions, I'm going to start to the left this time.
Yes,
Mr. Lella?
yeah, I brought this up. So I had a couple of questions in general. One of them is, first of all, since we adopted this in 2023, November of 2023, so we've had 24 and 25
Correct.
fiscal years, 500,000 each year to try to attract this kind of enterprise. How many have applied in those 2 years?
So thus far, we've had 1 applicant and 1 award. However, that has not deterred staff from having substantial efforts. And that's part of the reason why this program is back here today. Part of that feedback is that this is not a competitive enough program as it was originally adopted. And when we found out through our first applicant is that these awards mutually beneficial to the city, that they coincide as the development process occurs, so that both parties are happy with the progress. And so we take out attend conferences to advertise this, as well as ads through Site Selection, Business Facility Magazine, and those key hitters there.
I mean, after all, this is the Aerospace Valley, right?
Absolutely.
And we've had 1 applicant
Correct.
over the last 3 years, basically, or the last 2 years at least.
Correct, yep.
Okay, and have we awarded a grant?
Yes, there's been 1 applicant, 1 award, and they broke ground in November of
Okay.
2025.
And what do you think the reason is that we haven't attracted more applicants?
Well, I think for starters, it was that this was not competitive. A lot of the feedback that we got was that potential foreign countries, Mexico, Canada, were offering much greater incentives. And although we have land that is cheaper in comparison to Los Angeles County, it wasn't truly competitive to get somebody to relocate. And so that's the purpose for this program being back here today.
Okay, and is it not competitive because not enough money in the grant, or what?
Variety of different reasons. Yeah, they have the ability to do tax deductions and things that we're not originally part of this program, but a lot of it is contributed to cost and how that affects the relocation efforts and ultimately their business and their industry.
So do you think that these changes here will encourage more applicants, or do you think it would become even a greater impediment to applications?
Well, I think it's going to help, mainly the leasing option. We have a lot of currently vacant industrial space, and that's kind of where we're trending with a lot of our development projects. But adding that second phase essentially means more funding and will allow for greater job creation. So I do think that'll give us, tip us over to help bring some more applications in.
And so do you think that if we increase the budget for this item in this next budgetary year, that would help attract more applicants?
Well, so currently we have $500,000, and as the applications are not received, we continue to kind of roll that over in hopes that we get them. And we intend to evaluate these applications when they start rolling in quarterly, so we can properly address our budget needs year over year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
Do you have a question?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say I think this is a great program. I'm glad that the one company did come and that we were able to negotiate that contract with them. And I hope that others will follow. So I hope we review this on a continual basis, make sure that we keep making changes that people will take advantage of and come to the Antelope Valley. So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Ditto, anything to incentivize business, new industry, to relocate here, bring jobs here, increase our tax revenue and our tax base here. I'm full supportive, so I will make a motion to move and approve. He didn't have his light on, I wasn't sure if he wanted to.
Second, I can't say it better than Laura. Yes, a second.
Yeah, okay. I might have missed it, but what are we doing to advertise to the other aerospace industries of this grant? How do they know it exists?
Yeah, absolutely. So we intend to expand our online presence, but more than that, since this has been adopted, we take out ads in a lot of the major publications that key decision makers in aerospace industries, manufacturing industries would ordinarily see. In addition to trade shows and conferences where this is always a topic of conversation, again, that's where we receive the feedback to apply to today.
Okay, appreciate it. We got a motion and a second. Can we get a question?
By voting? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, 5-5.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Mr. Torres, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So I think that, in general, the questions respond to my concerns about this. I asked you a little bit about these 3 different bid sheets. One of them did not use the same form, including the chart. There's 3 that did, and then when you look across, there's a difference in the numbers, and I think you've pretty much resolved that issue. And I'm happy to receive this information so that we have a little more critical information to look at in terms of evaluating this. Now, in terms of the analysis, are you, because of AI being so universal now, do you use an AI application at all to try to reconcile all these different factors?
No, we don't. We create our own matrix. We do have unit prices that we get from our consultants or previous projects that we compare to. So all our projects have an engineering estimate, and they're all broken down to bid items with engineering's unit cost, and that's what we compare contractors' unit cost to. So that's how we analyze the bids for all projects.
Okay, and so if we can get this information a few days before the council meeting so that we get a chance to evaluate it. I mean, I think all of these bids are 400 and something pages, but the essence is included in the first 8 pages of the application. It's got the most basic information, but it's substantial information.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if we could just make sure that we get that. But in any event, I'd like to move the item whenever the questions are done.
I have no questions.
Andrea? Austin?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Thank you,
Let's
Mr.
roll.
Torres.
Start voting. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, that's it for the consent calendar.
Mayor?
Yep,
Excuse me, can we approve the balance of the consent calendar?
we did that up front.
I don't have a vote on that.
We definitely went through the motions.
I believe it was Councilmember Bishop, motion, and then seconded by Councilmember Loa,
Okay,
as I remember it. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay, can we just go
definitely
ahead?
went through it.
and-
Do you need us to do it again?
We're just gonna vote on it.
All right, let's vote
Okay,
again.
Go ahead.
No changing your minds.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the public hearing that's on the agenda is continued until February 3rd. It says that on the agenda. But just wanted a reminder. So we're going to move on to section 7, which is appointments. And again, I want to reiterate that my goal as mayor is to get everybody pulling in the same direction for this city, right? That means us at this dais. We were all elected in our districts to serve this city. And I think we should respect the vote of the people and respect each other. Like I said, any minute we spend adverse to each other is a minute we're spending not serving the needs of this community. And that's what we were elected to do. We are here for the people of Palmdale. We shouldn't care about who's going to be happy or angry at any decision we should make. We should focus on those that elected us to serve. So with that, I want to say it's my intention to restore all council members back to boards and committees. And so instead of going over each individual item to figure out who wants what, we could be here all night doing that. I'm going back to the way that it was before anybody was removed with a couple of minor changes based on statute. There's some things in the code that is required the mayor. There's other things that we're going to do slight adjusts on. But before we get to that, I just want to let you know my intention. I want to hear the input from the public. I'm going to call public comment for item 7. Let's all be nice and respectful, and we'll be the same. Thank you.
We have Jason Zink.
I know you might want to do that, but it's not on the agenda as an item to vote on. And the whole thing is,
It is. 7-1, where we're at.
right, but it doesn't say that you're going to restore the rights to Alarcon and Loa.
No, we're going to provide direction on changes to the existing, and that's the direction that I'm providing, is that
Right.
we're
But
all
right
gonna-
now,
we're all going to be eligible.
Right, but not right now, you can't do it this meeting, because it's not an agenda item.
It-
But the thing is, Alarcon and Loa was not allowed because of their, because of their actions, shameful actions, ethical actions, from what you guys said. Alleged. But also, we have to go back to the original sin, which was Richard Loa and Austin Bishop protecting their council districts, which is against state law. And you had City Attorney Shankman, who's the head state election attorney right on the subject, and they said Austin Bishop and Richard Loa broke state law, state election law. So they can't even vote on anything. And you knowing that this actually happened, and the city attorney, and the city manager, and the city clerk must make corrective action. So that's where you have to go in. So you have to go in and create a committee, district committee. You have to go to court. You have to go back to Judge Moni's order to have a mayor elected at large for districts. And hopefully, we have enough time to do it in June. Because the further you guys keep kicking the can, it's just going to create more chaos. We have to get this right. Austin Bishop, Richard Loa, Betancourt, they've served enough time on this city council. It's time for new blood. You spend 2 terms and then you're out. So they should be willing to give up their seats for the good of the people. They got their contacts. They know how to make good money now. They can move on. But we have to fix this before we can move forward. And I'm looking for your leadership to do that. Because we cannot have people that break the law, because they're no good. They're no good than somebody that robs a liquor store, as far as I'm concerned. They broke the law. They need to be held accountable. And you need to hold them accountable. The city attorney needs to hold them accountable. The city manager, the city clerk. Right now, what we're doing is running on people that have broken the law, and it needs to be corrected by this city council.
No further speaker cards on this section.
Okay. Let me find my list. Are you sure? I'm just gonna read it real fast, because these are my recommendations. The Antelope Valley Air Quality Management District, I'm going to nominate Austin Bishop and myself with Laura Betancourt as the alternate. The Fairground Authority, I will leave Richard Loa. AVTA, myself, Richard Loa, and Laura Betancourt as the alternate. California Contract Cities, Andrea Alarcon and Austin Bishop as the alternate. City of Palmdale Audit Committee, Austin Bishop and Laura Betancourt with Richard Loa as the alternate. The City of Palmdale Investment Oversight Committee, by statute, I have to do that with Mr. Loa as the alternate there. The Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, I'm going to recommend Austin Bishop and Mr. Loa. High Desert Corridor, I'm going to stay on there with Mr. Loa as the alternate. The Cal Cities Desert Mountain Division, I'm going to leave Laura Betancourt on there with Austin Bishop as the alternate. And Richard Loa as the second alternate. The Los Angeles County City Selection Committee is currently Mr. Loa. I will leave him there. We get to the sanitation districts, another one by statute. As mayor, I have to serve. On District 14, Mr. Bishop is the alternate. District 20, Mr. Loa is the alternate. The North County Transportation Coalition. I'm going to nominate myself for the delegate. The business rep, Austin Bishop. At-large rep, Richard Loa. And alternate, Salvador Mendez. The Palmdale Recycled Water Authority. I'm going to leave directors Betancourt and Bishop with Richard Loa as the alternate. The Palmdale Tourism Improvement District, I'm going to leave Mr. Bishop. Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG, I would like to serve on that with Mr. Loa as the alternate. The Southern California Associations of Governments Regional Council District 43, I'm going to leave Mr. Bishop. Palmdale Sister Cities Association, Andrea Alarcon and Richard Loa. Alternate, Laura Betancourt and Austin Bishop. California State Prison, Los Angeles County Citizens Advisory Committee is Councilmember Betancourt. I would like to propose that she remain with Richard Loa as the alternate. And then we got a couple of ad hoc committees. Are the ad hocs necessary for the Maddie? Do we? No. Okay. So those are going to be my recommendations. Is there any objection to that recommendation?
No, but if you need a motion, I'll make a motion to accept those.
Okay, I'll second.
Give me a second.
Start voting.
Did I miss League of Cities?
Motion passes unanimously.
Did I miss one? Yeah, I think I missed League of Cities, which I was going to nominate Andrea Alarcon. For the record. I don't know why it's not on this
Can we do a
specific
voice
list.
vote on that? To agree? Or I'll make a motion to put Andrea on that.
Yeah, amend your motion.
Okay, I amend the motion to add Andrea to the League of California Cities.
League of Cities?
So we have a motion and a second on the amended motion.
Did we miss any? We're good? Okay.
Well, I do not see League of Cities. Let me just go through again. California Cities Desert Mountain Division, is that what we're talking about?
No, that's me.
Nope.
No, there was a league.
I think it was inadvertently omitted from the staff report as a committee that needs an appointment.
Okay, so we want to make sure that we have that, and who on the League of Cities?
Andrea?
Okay. And we'll include that in the motion.
Thank you.
Is that just one delegate, no alternate on that one, though?
It's not in front of me,
Okay.
so I don't know.
All right.
If there's an alternate, anyone want it? Mrs. Betancourt?
Sure, okay. It's not Mrs., but thank you.
Oh, Ms. Betancourt. I'm sorry, council member.
It used to be.
If there's an alternate, then we want to have, okay.
Yes.
Councilmember Betancourt. Okay. Motion's confirmed.
Do-
Okay.
We need a vote.
We actually
Right.
voted, actually.
We did already?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And I confirm, well, I can amend it, okay.
so
I'll go ahead and do
you want me
that.
to re-hit the motion button?
That's okay.
Okay.
I just think it'd
That's
be
okay.
cleanest.
Yep, I got you. And so our motion was Betancourt and Loa. I'll go ahead and put an amendment in here. Here we go. As amended, adding League of Cities as amended, adding League of Cities.
I'm sorry.
And that was Loa. Adding League of Cities, thank you.
Okay, that went much easier than I thought. Thank you. We're already to city manager's report.
Mayor, members of City Council, our upcoming events are January 16th and 17th. Celebrate the music of Journey with live performances by Journey USA at the Palmdale Playhouse at 7 p.m. On January 19th, community programs, Season of Service volunteer program, Saves recognition from 9 a.m. to noon at Saves. Also on January 19th, MLK celebration with live music, free crafts and activities, food trucks, vendors, and more, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Positlan Square. On January 24th, AVU HSD Justice Sunday performance at the Palmdale Playhouse at 4 p.m. I hear that's a great show, so if you guys haven't been out there to see it, I hear it's a really good show at the Palmdale Playhouse, once again, January 24th at 4 p.m. January 31st, New Year, New Cheer, an evening of comedy and laughter at the Palmdale Playhouse at 7 p.m. And those are my reports for the month. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Captain Barton, it's your turn.
Good evening. All right, good evening, Mayor Olson and council. Happy New Year. I'm going to cover some of the stuff that happened the past year, just more of a recap for the year. Some of it's preliminary data, but pretty close to being official. So response times to routine calls for service in the month of December were 100 minutes in the city. Routine calls are the ones that are non-emergent. We're not going lights and siren, no one's in peril. It's, hey, you know, I found out my car was stolen a week ago, that type of call. So usually those response times are a little bit slower, but we've been improving on them. So for the year, we ended up with an average of 112 minutes, which was a 13% reduction compared to 2024, which was an average of 129 minutes. And then it's 28% lower than what 2023 was at 156 minutes. So the clock keeps going down for us, which is good. We handled 3,842 calls for service in the month of December, and a total of 45,922 calls for service in the year of 2025. We were down about 7,000 calls for service this year. I think a lot had to do with virtual deputy, to be honest with you. The city CSOs handled 2,870 incidents in 2025 and wrote 1,854 reports. The Partners Against Crime team, the PAC team, made 833 arrests and issued 377 citations in 2025. Based on preliminary crime data, we averaged 295 Part 1 crimes per month in the city for 2025, which was an overall decrease of 8.6% compared to 2024. I believe in 2024, we averaged 325 Part 1 crimes per month. Part 1 crimes include murders, rapes, assaults, robberies, burglaries, thefts. Crimes against persons were down 12% compared to 2024, with a decrease of 80 incidents. So those are people where they're getting assaulted, raped, and murders. Property crimes were down 7.8% compared to 2024, with a decrease of 255 incidents. We were lower on stolen vehicles and retail theft this year. Gang-related shootings were down 52% compared to 2024 and 59% compared to 2023. we had a total of 14 gang-related shootings in 2025. I want to say in 2023, we had almost 30. A total of 4,390 arrests were made in 2025, which was an 11% increase compared to 3,930 in 2024, and we recovered 599 firearms this past year. We averaged 170 collisions per month in 2025, which was a slight decrease of 2% compared to 2024. But we also had an increase of 13% on fatal collisions. We got back up to 18 compared to 16 in 2024. I want to say in 2023 we had 20. So we're pretty much on the average there. We also had a 17% decrease in traffic citations for 2025 with 9,170 citations compared to 11,000 in 2024. Obviously, we had the fires and a lot of different responses to emergencies last year. We also had a couple motors that were out for a little while. We got a plan this year to increase those numbers exponentially, and you'll be seeing those efforts out here soon for traffic enforcement. Virtual Deputy received over 1,000 submissions in 2025 with over 400 reports being written. The Spanish-speaking version is now live as well and available. Virtual Deputy is now at 9 Sheriff's Department stations, and we've already been contacted about increasing it to a couple other ones. We're also working on a couple ways to do almost what's like a DocuSign for when you have a stolen vehicle. So you don't have to have a deputy come out and see you there. We can literally send you the form and get your stolen vehicle in the system. That'll be coming out here in the next month or two. Lastly, I'd like to spotlight we coordinated over 100 events this year for the community, including the successful large-scale events like the Haunted Jail, as well as the Interfaith Prayer Breakfast, and we're looking forward to 2026 and increasing that. That's the end of my report.
Does anybody have questions for the captain? Comments?
I have a question.
Mr. Lowe?
So, I don't know if you heard it, but on catalytic converters, did you have any analysis on that?
So in the beginning of the year, we had an uptick in catalytic conversion. I want to say we had about 100 cases. We had an exhaustive investigation which led to the arrest of a certain individual who ended up going to prison, and we haven't had as many since. It was a big investigation which led to a search warrant and arrest, and we have not seen the same crime since then. So we're constantly monitoring. We use the city's flock system as well for some of the investigation, but we got that person in custody and we haven't seen it since.
Can you share that report with us in writing?
Yes.
If you could email it to each
I
of
can
us.
get you a factual basis of what we did.
That'd be great. Okay, and then in terms of homicides,
Okay.
in 2025 as opposed to 24, increase, decrease, stay the same?
Decrease.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Questions?
I have no questions. I just want to say great job on the crime reduction.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for you and all the deputies and the staff over at the department for keeping Palmdale safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you and congratulations on the success of the virtual deputy program. It really is remarkable, and those numbers don't. I think it was implemented halfway through the year, or
It
somewhere.
started really gaining traction after the fires and our CAD system went down for a few days.
Right, so that doesn't even capture a full year's worth of reports, and now that people know that it's available, the ease with which you can make the appointment and it's actually really comforting. I went through it when I had to file a report, and so I just want to commend you and congratulate you on its success.
Thank you.
And thank you for the bilingual component too. It is quite frankly intimidating, and we could talk about that later when we get to future agenda items. But it's intimidating for people who might not be familiar with the law enforcement process, particularly in the context within which we are currently in today with the threat of law enforcement and immigration enforcement. So thank you for that.
Thank you. No, we definitely wanted to have another avenue of access for the Spanish-speaking community. It is definitely a nicer way to contact someone. We're not going to take you through the computer screen, right? And we're not going to be touching you through the computer screen. So we have not had that many people reach out so far via the Spanish-speaking. So if anyone's listening, please utilize it and contact us. We're trying to get that to gain traction just like we did on the other side. I will tell you the civilian grand jury also came out and witnessed the whole virtual deputy live, and I have a feeling it'll be in their report later on this year.
Cool. That it? Okay, so yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do for this community. The two big things for me is affordability and safety. So for the latter, we thank you and the department for all the work you're doing, the innovative ideas, and just moving the needle. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, non-agenda public comments. This is your time to speak on something that's not on the agenda, but please remember it has to be within the purview of this council. It has to be city-related. And with that,
We have Eugene Hernandez.
I guess you guys are pretty well relaxed. 2 months you were gone. I don't know why all of you have to attend these conferences. I don't know why you couldn't select one member of the council to go to these conferences, but nevertheless, you must be pretty happy. But I'm very concerned about the ongoing integrity issues of city staff here. Either they're overestimating projects, or they're lacking in basic integrity when they present here. And it's been an ongoing problem that I think that should be addressed. I think the staff has to go through integrity training in order to be honest when they present here before the council. On another issue, 6 months ago, I asked why the city manager hasn't fixed the Shamboli Center. It's been 4 years. And with all the money that Austin Bishop gave to AV Ware, $300,000, that could have been used to rebuild the Shamboli Center. But no, Austin Bishop is only for business, not about the community, only for your friends. I bet you if I would research your election campaign, I would find A.B. Ware giving money to Austin Bishop. It's an integrity problem, just as I pointed out before. And I think that that this city has to be more aware of the needs of the Chicano community. We have 263,000 Latinos here, and what are you doing to uplift you're not introducing rent control. Affordability is a major problem among Latinos. But do you care? No. AV Ware is where Austin Bishop is concerned about. Whether, they come in, these criminals, and you give them $300,000. 2 weeks later, AV Ware makes a presentation before Lancaster City Council. They get another $300,000. To me, that's mafiosa actions, They have never done anything for the community. Yes, but you step out of your seat to deliver this. When are you going to develop a conscience, Austin Bishop? When are you going to concern yourself about the Chicano community here? I would say never. And I want to know when Mendez is going to fix Chabola Center. It's been 4 years now. You could have done it a day ago. Thank you.
We have Roger.
That's Roger the Radical. But I'm not actually very radical. It's just marketing. Don't tell anyone I'm actually quite mild-mannered. And for those watching at home, oh wait, no one's watching at home, never mind. Anyway, I guess I owe the city an apology. I once referred to this chamber as a veritable den of iniquity. I take it back. You got my trash cans. Parks and Recreation did a great job. There's 3 fabulous trash cans there. However, I'd like to point out there is still no picnic table. Yeah. And also, I saw in today's agenda, somebody got the sidewalk in front of their house paved, but not by my house. I guess they must rate higher. So with all this increased money from the highest taxes in the known universe, maybe you could put the sidewalk in by my place. I'd sure appreciate it. Let's see, any other complaints? Well, I'll think of some next month. Thank you.
No further speaker cards?
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. First, I came here late this afternoon. I was working. I got here as quick as I could, so I know I missed some things at the start. Forgive me if I reference something that's already been handled. But I was thinking about what Captain Barden was saying about this person that was stealing catalytic converters, and somehow miraculously, once that person was dealt with and held accountable, the thefts went down. Is that what I heard? That's a remarkable concept. It tells me that when people are held accountable for their crimes, has a deterrent factor there, right? Or effect. And I got to say, I think that that would be a beneficial thing for Ms. Alarcon here. We've been telling you since she ran the first time that she was not fit for public office. We gave you all the reasons. You all know them. I don't have to go over them here. Now, this latest issue that's popped up, the September 12th issue, I think it was, and I understand that you told people that, that you paid for whatever damages, but I also understand that there were bruises incurred, and this was a physical, the battery is the charge, right? So I don't understand how it is that somebody with Ms. Alarcon's record, capable as she may be when she's in control of herself, I don't understand how somebody like that keeps failing forward. It is absurd. But while sitting here, I've gotten no less than 6 text messages from different people who actually are watching, by the way, that are dismayed by the fact that she's been given committee assignments again. Because it's a liability financially. I'm sorry, myself and my group, we actually pray for you. We do. I don't want to see you waste your life and your talents. And they're sizable. But I don't understand how somebody can keep doing the things that she's done and still there's no accountability. And by accountability, I mean she's still on the city council, still in elected office, and I understand that this body has no mechanism to do anything about that because we don't have a code of conduct that has any teeth for council members. Now, I spoke to you guys about that probably about a year ago, and there was some minor effort made, and again, it had no teeth. It was kind of ridiculous. I'm urging you again, get a code of conduct for council members that actually will hold people accountable so that these kind of things won't happen over and over again. The city of Palmdale is something of a laughingstock to a lot of people because of this. It's got to stop. If you guys won't do it or don't have the time, we're very capable of putting an ordinance together that will put something like that in place, and we'll be happy to do it. Thank you.
Jason? Okay, Marcos? Fight it out amongst yourselves.
Looking
Happy New Year.
sharp, Mayor.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone. But I will be frank and clear, nationally, regionally, and locally, it's not that happy. And I don't need to repeat what's going on with our brothers and sisters of color, so I'll leave it at that. Last year, Ms. Betancourt, I highlighted what was going on in my neighborhood as it relates to the light. And I want to thank you for quickly addressing that situation. And you introduced me to the people in charge. Found out that the light was being taken care of by Edison, so they had to take extra time to come out. But within a week's time, I can now walk safely at night in that corner, so I appreciate that. I did have a few conversations with some of you, including Ms. Alarcon, regarding the drains. Now, we know we do the best we can, and I applaud the city for always doing the best they can to take care of the drains. But in the conversations that I had, I was quoted, it was quoted to me that because these extreme climates that take place every year don't happen enough, it wasn't in the best interest of the city to invest to improve the drains. Now, I'll give you an example. In these last 2 storms that we had, my daughter was coming home from work, and then because it was so high, the water, it messed up her bumper on her car, and so she's been trying to fix it ever since. All of that could be avoided if we take the time, and I'm requesting the city to reinvest and take a look at the structures of all the drains, particularly on the east side, where I don't have to do the backstroke trying to get home, right? And we are avoiding future accidents where pedestrians can actually walk because the drain's flowing correctly. That's not happening when these storms happen. So I hope we can take the time and work something out positively to invest concrete time to improve these drains. And also, finally, I've been talking to some of the businesses up here, up and down Palmdale Boulevard, and the common ground that I found out, independent mama and papa businesses are just surviving and trying to survive above water. They can barely keep their doors open. So I can vent here all night long, but I know after attending many council meetings, there's money there. If it isn't already there, there's tax dollars, there's investments that we can at least once again review and help these small businesses stay afloat. Because I'm one who doesn't, although I like infrastructure and tax dollars, but you'll never find me at Starbucks. You'll never find me at Target. I'm one who wants to lift the mama and papa that dreamed of a better place when they came out and opened a business here. And I know you can understand that, Mr. Bishop, being a business owner. So I hope we can invest on that. Other than that, Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. Last call, Jason?
I've asked repeatedly for you guys to be accountable. And now that you're in your position, Mr. Olson, as mayor, I asked you again to hold this city council accountable and its members, and you haven't. So I have to, as a citizen, take things into my own hand to force things in court. So tonight, I'd like to put under citizen's arrest Richard Loa and Austin Bishop and force them in this issue of violating my rights and the people's rights in this city. And let this actually go to court, get figured out, and be done right. And that way our city can move forward. So I'd like to ask the deputies to come up here.
We're not doing that here.
No, yes, you
No, we're
have
not.
to.
We're not doing that here.
Yes, you have to.
Do
It's
you have
my
anything
right.
else? You have
You're
2
gonna
minutes left.
violate my right?
You're not doing that here. I'm conducting this meeting for the business of the people. I'm not going to allow you to disrupt this
I am doing the
meeting.
business of the people, Mr. Olson.
If you
because
disrupt,
will not.
Jason, this is your warning. If you disrupt the meetings like this, it will not be tolerated. This is your first warning.
I'm asking
Are you
the
done
captain.
speaking?
Huh?
Are you done? You
I'm
have a
asking
minute
the
40
captain,
left.
point of order.
I'm telling you, this is not happening right now. I'm conducting this for the business of Palmdale.
I'm
You will
I'm
not
doing this
disrupt
for the
this
business
meeting.
of Palmdale?
I will give you a minute 30, but you are not doing a citizen's arrest here.
You know what? You're holding, city attorney needs to
Government
speak up.
code and the penal code give me the authority to conduct this meeting, and I will conduct it how I see fit. And if you interrupt it, that will be handled.
Okay, fine, we'll do it right after the meeting, I guess. And I'll stick around and we can put you guys under citizen's arrest. I'll wait.
Let's
for
not
breaking
engage,
state law
let's not engage
and my rights.
into comment. Is there any other comment? Anyone else wish to speak? All right, we're closing public comment. Moving on, council reports, announcements, and requests for future agenda items. I'm going to start to my right again this time. Ms. Alarcon?
Thank you. I will file my report with all the various events that I went to in December. They were wonderful holiday events. Thank you to the entire staff for all that you did to contribute to them. The Ponce Land Square was absolutely stunning. And I received nothing but accolades and commentary. Kids, young kids, families were coming out at all hours of the night to share really, really special moments with one another and to highlight and post our city. So thank you to everybody for making that sort of just a really beautiful experience for all of our community to share. December, just the one really big event that I had the privilege of holding was my Kicks for Kids event. It was a phenomenal success. Again, the line was around the entire park, McAdam Park. Thank you to Mayor Olson and City Manager Mendez for coming out to see the event. I think you guys got the firsthand sort of glimpse of the magnitude of the need in our community. I just want to make the point that amidst ICE enforcement in our community, the line was wrapped around the entire park. That just sort of underscores the need. And so moving forward, I'm hoping that we can get the full council and the city to support it even further. So thank you to everybody and all the volunteers for helping to make that a success. Future agenda items, again, we are aware, I think we're all aware that there has been recent ICE enforcement actions in our city. And so there is an incredibly heightened level of fear. I know amongst the residents that I represent in the larger Latino community in the Antelope Valley, this is a matter of urgency. I'm quite frankly surprised it wasn't on this agenda. So I'd like to move that we add it to our next council agenda as an action item. So a couple of things. One, to discuss my previous motion related to ICE enforcement and its coordination with the Sheriff's Department and the formal policies with which we will all abide, so that the community can understand where we stand on those issues. Also, to get an update from our city attorney on new laws that became effective this year, namely SB 805 and SB 627. As well as the litigation related to those new laws. There's update, I mean, there's movement in appellate courts and whatnot. So if we could get a report back on that. But as an action item, bring back my motion, the update on which new laws are in place, if there are any new policies at the Sheriff's Department that were adopted in response to those new laws. Just we need a holistic conversation about it because it matters to, I mean, 70%, 65 to 70% of our city's population is Latino. And citizen or not, I carry my birth certificate around because I'm scared too. And I was born here. It matters not if you are a citizen. So the fear is real, and I just want to make sure that we have an open and honest conversation about where things stand, so that the community knows the resources available, the position that the city takes, and what the Sheriff's Department will and will not do with regard to ICE enforcement in our community. Thanks. That was a motion, so I would need a second for it to come back.
I'm going to second that, but you'll give ample time to coordinate with the Sheriff's Department and city staff to work out the details of that.
Okay, but can we, is there a reason why we can't get it in 2 weeks? Is this like urgent? The new laws, everybody needs to know what's going on.
Is that
I
enough
can
time?
move as fast as I can, and I will work with Captain Barden to see, usually it's the sheriffs that are slow, no offense.
No. I'm actually not sure that there are any changed policies.
Right, and there might not be.
I think they're consistent, and their board of supervisors has adopted policies that have remained the same and are aligned with the state laws that became effective. So I don't know that there's a whole lot for the sheriff to do. Really, it's the report back on the ongoing litigation and exactly the details of the new laws that became effective this year. So it's not really a whole lot. I think it can be done in 2 weeks. I think our public demands it. I think they deserve it. An update, and I think we can all benefit from knowing what really is the status of the law here and in the courts.
Okay. You think you could do that, Captain, in 2 weeks? Bring back what she's asking for your policies and how you deal with this issue? Okay, I'm going to second your motion.
Thank you.
Do we put that in?
I'll say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone oppose?
I'm going to abstain because I haven't had a chance to review it. I don't really like making motions off the fly without actually having the idea of what I'm voting on, and I want to make sure I have time to think about the impact of what it is.
So the
that we're
motion
doing.
is per our rules that we adopted as council, so that we can just bring the item back
Right.
to discuss it, to
The-
just add it to the agenda. It's not to adopt any kind of policies, it's to add it to the agenda next meeting. If you're opposed to bringing it back and even having the discussion, that's one thing, but we're not actually taking
Was it the discussion or to bring back what the county did? Is it to bring it back to discuss it and vote on it, or to bring it back and discuss it?
There
Because
will be no vote. It's just, we're getting an update on policies and procedures from the county, the Sheriff's Department.
Right,
new
but also
laws
bring
that
back
took
my
effect.
motion, so which may or may not require an action. So my motion, an update on the litigation, and an update on the legislation.
But to Councilmember Bishop, or Mayor Pro Tem Bishop's point, in the future, when we get to this section, if we have an idea that we're gonna bring something forward like this, I do think it's, well, not specifically like this, but in general, we should, just like any other agenda, have time to review what we're voting on. So if we could all try to do that, to be prepared in this certain circumstance, I think it's clear enough and urgent enough that I will second this. But in the future, I would appreciate.
Sure, I'd be happy to do so. Sometimes these kinds of things emerge on the fly or over the course of the conversation at the dais during the meeting. The process was adopted by the council, and we affirmed this, I think, maybe halfway through last year. And the city, the newly appointed city attorney has requested that so that there is clarity on what should and should not come back, that there be a motion and a second at this juncture in every council meeting so that she can have clarity as to what actually comes back and what doesn't. All I'm asking for is for the item to be placed on the upcoming agenda so that we can discuss it.
Okay, so we have 3 yeas and 1 abstention.
Well, I would vote to say yes, discuss it, but I wouldn't be ready to vote at that. Is it the discussion with action, or is it just discussion?
I'm asking that it be added to the agenda as an action item so that we allow for the flexibility with which to act on it if necessary.
Okay, then if that's the case, I'll abstain. But I would vote in favor for the updates.
It's not a bifurcated
Then
motion. You either want to hear it or
abstain.
not.
I'll just abstain
What, abstain?
from
Okay.
your motion.
Okay, we're good. Did you?
I'm okay with having this item placed on the agenda so we can discuss it.
Okay, we have 4 yeas and an abstention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your council reports and updates?
Yes, all right. So there was a lot of stuff going on in December. I won't go through all of it, but we had quite a few city events. One of them was Jolly Holiday at the amphitheater. That was really well attended, and it gets better and better every single year. That same day, we had a new ribbon cutting for San Fernando Coffee Company. They've been doing very well since they've opened up. The pines and presents at the tree lot over by the Auto Mall, that did really well. So it's nice to see that we're taking advantage of that space. Lots of other stuff going on. The Saves giveaway is always good. Lots of distributions, lots of charity and lots of giving back to the community in December. So that's always a good thing to attend. Oh, and we had the Dry Town groundbreaking for the water slides. That was really well received by the community. I think a lot of people are very excited for that addition to come this summer. So the rest of the report is filed, and with that, I'll pass it on to Councilmember Betancourt.
I went ahead and filed my report, but it was really, really warming to the heart to see how many organizations came together this holiday season and did gift giving to the kids of our community. It's a tough year, prices are high, you know, it's people are pressed for money. So having these organizations, and there was many of them doing toy giveaways for the kids. So I just want to thank all of the organizations that did that. It was really a nice thing to do.
Yes, I think that the Ponce de la Square Christmas lighting was fabulous. I've heard from people that have said that they had never been over to this area, and they, passing by Palmdale Boulevard, they see all these lights and everything else, and, what is that over there? And they've come over, and it's quite, I think that was a fantastic job. It highlights our support for the holidays, and I believe it does bring cheer to the community, and it's a good investment. The AVTA holiday drive-to grocery, I was there for just a little while. Some other stuff was going on for me that day. But it's amazing how many people actually participate in that. It's just hundreds of cars line up for that. It stretches all the way down Columbia Way, Avenue M, over to Sierra Highway and around there, and it just keeps on going from the morning until early afternoon. And there's many other wonderful things that happen during that period of time. Thank you for restoring me to the committees. I appreciate that. I don't think I should have been removed from them to begin with, but it is what it is. And so therefore, in the future, my informational report will contain a lot more entries than it does right now. I also would request that insofar as the selection of the city manager, that, I know that we have a subcommittee, but as far as I know, I don't know how many applications there have been. I understand that there are multiple applications that have been submitted. I believe that we all, as a council, should, because this is our one of two employees that the city has, or the city council has, rather. And I think that you should all review the applications and then also interview the applicants.
If that's a motion, I'll second it,
That is
to
a
bring it
motion.
back as an agenda item moving
And I think
forward.
it's a thing, it's appropriate thing, I believe, for this council to do is to evaluate all of the potential candidates, including, of course, Mr. Mendez. And I would request that we review that. I believe the subcommittee can give us their recommendations if they've already completed their analysis of the various applications, but we all should be able to participate and then interview the applicants. So, thank you, Ms. Alarcon, for seconding that.
Would that be done in closed session?
If it's a,
Because I would like that to be done in closed session so that we could first get the update from the subcommittee and then discuss.
Let me just.
I mean, the number of applicants, a baseline report so that the public can be informed as to how many applicants we've received, the status of them, have they been interviewed, where are we in the process? We don't have to reveal confidential information so that, so long as there's an update to the public of where we
Just a brief
stand,
update
a
on
general
status?
update on status, and we can discuss the individual applicants in closed session, surely. But at a minimum, I think we owe it to our community to be transparent as possible, just to let them know how far we are, where we are in the process, how far we are, the timelines with, that we expect this to take, and so on.
Okay, Mayor, in the past, what we've done is we've actually set a special meeting, and then we have interviewed, for example, city attorney, we've had the process where all the applicants come, we interview them, and then we make a decision. And I think that the same should happen both for the city attorney, if that ever comes up, and for the city manager. Those are our two employees. And we have to, each of the council members, I think, not only has a responsibility, but also the right to review all of this so that we make as educated as a choice as we possibly can. And I hope the council supports this motion and.
So the motion on the second is just for the status update, correct?
For the moment, yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Done.
We'll have a status update then at the next meeting.
Yep.
Right, and then we'll determine how we're moving from there. Okay?
Councilmember Betancourt?
What?
Your information report, do you care to say anything?
I already did mine, sir.
Oh, you did. That's right. Austin deferred to her. Okay. So
I
there.
can do it again.
Yeah. There was a comment that we had the month off, which is not true. If you look at my information report, I attended 20 different city-related events in the 31 days of December. I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but I did attend a lot of the turkey giveaway with Salva, with AVTA, some of the food drives, some of the toy giveaways. Ms. Alarcon, your event was well-attended. But all of it went to show that there's a need in this community. There is an affordability crisis. People are struggling to pay their bills, and they have to choose between keeping their lights on and paying for food. And if we're gonna protect the residents of this community, which I believe the number one responsibility of government is the protection of its citizens, how safe is someone if they don't have a place to live, or clean water to drink, or food on the table, or opportunities to education, or crime that's out of control? We have to consider what is on the table. And right now, what is on the table is people are concerned about how they're going to pay their bills. People are concerned about safety in the community. And I think that that's something that we need to continue to keep on the forefront of our minds, because the need was massive. And I'm so proud of everybody that we stepped up, we provided what we can, but that's something that we need to continue. So with that, we're going to move on to closed session. Item 12, do we go straight to public comment?
There are no public comments on this section?
Perfect. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight we have items 12.2 and 12.3 for closed session. Item 12.1 was pulled at the beginning of the meeting, and we are ready to go back there when you are.
Okay, thank you so much.
And don't forget her heater's here for her.
Well, we have quorum, right? We can, with,
Carry on.
carry on. There's enough here if we could just get the readout.
Okay.
What's that?
They didn't survive.
No one's in jail. No one's in jail.
I made it. You guys still have a quorum.
Okay.
You ready? Oh,
We'll do it live.
Having fun tonight? Yeah?
So I see where Anthony Bunda signed up again. It's good. 1 year or what? 1 year. Just one, huh?
Did you guys color coordinate on purpose? You're both wearing the same color green.
They're all Army Olive there.
Yeah.
Actually, I got asked if I was a sheriff. I was like, oh, wow.
You didn't bang the gavel tonight.
I did not.
okay, so. Hello, okay.
go.
So I have a report out for closed session, and then we had one minor adjustment to the appointments. So I'll do my report out, and then I'll start talking again. So for items 12.2, there was no reportable action, and for item 12.3, there was no reportable action. City Clerk just brought to my attention that when we were doing the appointments earlier, there was some confusion about Cal League of Cities versus the, says something like High Desert Mountain Division. They're actually the same thing. So we appointed Councilmember Alarcon to Cal League of Cities with Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Betancourt. Sorry, I still think you're Mayor Pro Tem. And there's one more position for another alternate. So if council wanted to appoint a second alternate, you could do so at this time. So
For the High Desert?
it's for the Cal League of Cities. Yes, so that's Cal League of Cities, but there was some.
Hang on, we have some input coming in.
Yes.
Coming in.
We thought they were two different things, I guess, when it came up, but it's actually the same board.
So the League of California Cities changed their name not that long ago to Cal Cities. So we have seats on the League of Cities, Cal Cities Desert Mountain Division Committee.
Okay.
So they're the same.
Okay.
We made that appointment under the original motion, right?
Correct,
Okay.
right, and it was council, so at first it was Councilmember Betancourt with, I think, Bishop and Loa as alternates. Then through the amendment that was revised, it changed to Councilmember Alarcon with Councilmember Betancourt as the alternate. There's one more alternate spot.
We'll do it.
Mr. Loa,
Mr. Loa,
Mr.
I'll
Loa,
make a
okay.
motion for Mr. Loa.
second.
Okay.
So that Cal League of Cities will be Councilmember Alarcon with, as the delegate, with Councilmember Betancourt and Councilmember Loa as the alternates.
Okay. All in
Yeah.
favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Done.
I'm done talking.
Okay, so then we're adjourning this meeting until February 3rd.
Okay.
See you then.